Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Wells of Wall Street. POWR, Power Ledger on our radar today. First of all, thank you for those that have subscribed. If you have not done so already, please do make sure that you proceed to do so. We've gone through the 5,000 barrier and on our way to 6,000 already. Thank you so much for the support. Power Ledger, well, what a day it has been for them. In the price charts. We'll go into that in a second. Unfortunately, my actual TradeView app is messing about with OBS. So I'm going to do it for the browser today. Should still be fine. But first things first, I'd like to quickly point out this topic here, which we did a video on Power Ledger a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week and a half ago, but we did it just before this was announced. So again, if you get some time, go on the Twitter of Power Ledger. They've got a nice link here. This is actually related to a project or certainly a newsletter topic that was done in August, I believe. But then they've obviously managed to produce the article for this. So this was Eon releasing their newsletter, and it's really cool actually. It goes into a lot of depth about the apartment buildings that are being built in Australia right now, where Power Ledger resides, and the integration of the Power Ledger system in terms of tokenomics and being able to essentially utilize this whole kind of carbon trading mechanism of excess energy as a one pure example of many that are available, but that aspect of having surplus energy from the battery capacity of like solar panels or whatever you have on top of the roof, and being able to contribute that towards your neighboring communities of people around the world, and it's kind of removing that aspect of like overindulged energy consumption. All this talk here about wasting energy and this, that, and the other, and utilization of blockchain and the speed of which tokenomics and transactions can occur. This whole trading mechanism of energy is going to change, and Power Ledger, as well as a couple of other projects that we cover in the background, like Energy Web Foundation, for example. But Power Ledger is really showcasing some phenomenal projects going on in Australia. I would love to see how that progresses. And on that note, we do indeed have an AMA scheduled with Power Ledger. Can you believe it? It's going to be so awesome. So many questions to ask them. But also, guys, look out for our community section on the channel. We will be dropping a message there and on Twitter as well, to make sure that everyone gets questions in, and we'll obviously pick out the best ones that we can. And I'm sure we can get some kind of reward system going as well. But for now, the opportunity for anyone out there that has some specific questions they want to ask Power Ledger via ourselves. It would be like a pre-recorded interview. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a live one done due to time zone constraints and work, etc. But I will definitely mention some of the questions you guys have. So please keep an eye out for the community page and Twitter as well for the opportunity to nail down some questions you want me to ask them. And we'll make sure we share your community name out as well, that you use for usernames and everything, so that it's clear who's asked the questions. And finally, here we go. It's kind of interlacing this next topic actually with the chart. I'm going to look at this chart now. Look at this. Oh, wow. Okay, this works pretty much the same as the app, which is quite cool. It might be a bit slower, so apologies if that happens. But look at this. I'm going to say 90 odd percent maybe. Ooh, 94.5%, 95%, could we call that? That is a stunning move. And in fact, you could argue that from these points here a couple of days ago, the lower points, 105% increase. But for now, we'll talk about the last 24 hours. I don't think we've closed yet. Maybe got a couple hours left as well. Look at that tailed top at 82 cents, I believe. High of 82.7. Wow. So we have climbed a magnificent opening of 42 cents and a high of 82. Incredible. Double opportunity today. Now, there's a few things I want to discuss about this. Let me just get rid of all these tickers on the right hand side, and let's look at the performances. Look at that. Weekly 57% gains, 33% up on the month. Power Ledger, guys, I'm telling you, it was an absolute honor to talk about this project. We named it as our energy sector um, gem in last year. We loved doing the intro videos to it and following this project as time went by. And it's, it's a fantastic opportunity to get involved in something so early. Even I'm sure this will consolidate downwards, but even at these prices compared to where the price will be in the future, I'm sure it's going to be an absolute steal as well. But look at that on the 6 months, the 3 months, looking so positive and healthy, and on that year, 666%. But let's wait for this to proceed downwards before we get too majorly excited about these performance indicators on the right hand side. But what we can at least acknowledge is this is a phenomenal move. What can we take from this? Well, there's a few things, in my opinion. One, you got the FOMO aspect, of course, when people see numbers drive up, especially when you hit these really interesting points. I mean, if I just quickly, for example, and this is not massively accurate, but just to put things in perspective, shooting through macro levels of fib retracements, but here on the medium here, we've gone through massive levels and a continuation, even nearly, very nearly, going towards the previous high levels that we've seen earlier this year, around 97 cents. In fact, what was that one? 97.4. Couldn't quite get to those levels. I think we just ran out of steam. But what I want to make my point clear is as you get these big rises in and people suddenly look at their exchange and they go, oh, what are the biggest gainers? And then they go, I don't even know what this is, or I don't even know what's going on. I'm just going to jump in because it looks fun. And then before you know it, it stops and then climbs down. And everyone's like, oh my goodness, I've lost all my money. But, that just happens in this market. But there's no specific information out there to suggest that this was because of an announcement or anything like that today, unless something has trickled in the back end outwards and people have cottoned onto it. But there's one thing I wanted to bring to your attention, which I remember reading a few weeks back. The update on the development of the Power Ledger chain and staking contracts. Now, why am I pulling this up? Because here, it says here, join the chain in the new year. So external validators can expect to be invited to our GitHub repository and be able to join the chain in the new year. Now, it's not specific of when that is in the new year, but there are other consortium aspects in conversation, not just in this article, but across a number of other elements that they mentioned in the past as well. That it's going to be sometime in January. There was some testing, I think, if I remember correctly, going on about the staking. So really interested to see this. So primary staking mechanism, Power locked on the Ethereum contract, successfully undergone multiple unit tests in mid-January. Maybe it was this. Sorry, reading things ahead of schedule. In mid-January, this contract will be undergoing an audit from an external auditor. So very interesting indeed. Are they perhaps utilizing tokens on the chain to test these mechanisms, or have they indeed opened it up to developers to utilize their tokens and thus hence buying more to obtain enough for them to do so? Could it be because of that, and because of that news and the FOMO, and everyone may be anticipating that staking is coming? I mean, look at what happened to EWT, the other week when we were covering the whole staking opportunity. It wasn't a gigantic drive upwards, but you could certainly see there was great interest in the staking mechanism, especially when you get early news of it happening. I mean, look at that. These lower regions, we started tailing up once the news started trickling out from $8 all the way up here to 15. So that's nearly a double move as well. And it's very similar, albeit the price points are different. The aspect is still the same. We've seen essentially a double move today. Now that could settle down. We could get support here at this 69 cents and have another rally up. If people started to do the research that we've just done and find out that actually, this might have something to do with the staking. We don't have a definitive date yet, of course, when I believe the actual staking will occur, because it's in audit situation right now, and especially utilizing the likes of Solana here by the looks of it as well. Solana community as well involved. It's going to be quite interesting. And for me, had I have sort of anticipated that a bit more appropriately over the last few weeks, I probably would have bought a lot more than I did over these last couple of weeks with POWR. But here we are. I have admittedly done some trades today because there's no way I was going to miss out on that. But I'm really interested in this area. I do have a sell. I've sold up some at the top around here. It wasn't quite over 80 cents. It was just under. I know it went a bit higher than that, but I'm pretty happy with that move. So I've sold some on there, but I've got a buy order in at 60, just over under 70. I think it was like 67 cents or something. So I do anticipate if we come down to this level, we might have some wick downs. I'm not suggesting we're going to completely crash down immediately. Sometimes it does mirror in that effect, but sometimes you do also get a second catalyst, especially when traders are using things like mid-range fib retracements and whatnot to maintain their trading areas. We might see another tail up and people riding this for the next few days. We'll have to see how that plays out, but ultimately I do anticipate that POWR Ledger is massively undervalued considering what it's going to be capable of doing, what it is doing right now, and it's testing. So I love the fact that out of most of the projects out there, POWR Ledger is really showing what it's capable of doing, and it's going to keep progressing, in my opinion. I mean, look at this. When I was first talking about POWR or looking at POWR myself, it was back in January. I was like 11 cents. That's crazy. And I think I was buying more around 20-30 cents back here, and we had obviously the big mega runs, and I took profits and this, that, and the other. It's quite amazing. Originally, I completely forgot I had some. I had it in another wallet. I can't remember which one I was using, but I just remembered that I had those back then. So when I was sort of realizing POWR Ledger back up here again, I was like, oh wow, actually I did have some. So I managed to ride those storms, and we've come back in a nice correctional period. But yeah, I'm just really interested in this area. I do strongly believe it's to do with this. Of course, aspects of FOMO, and I don't think there's any like pump sessions going on with this kind of thing that I've seen, certainly over Telegram groups or anything like that. So it does go hand in hand, really. Let us know what you think about that in the comments below. But I think it's to do with the staking auditing and the staking mechanism potentially coming soon. And if you can bag yourselves POWR Ledger under $1, I truly think that's an absolute bargain. And certainly a great opportunity for the staking when it does eventually open up. But I would love it to come back down to these regions selfishly to double up my positions for sure. But on the RSIs, guys, well, it's a bit skewed, to be honest, right now to give you a proper formulated analysis of the chart. I mean, the way we were going was very much pretty standard, to be honest. We had the overselling aspect here from this point here on the 28th of November all the way up to the 21st. Very encouraging RSI lines coming in here, especially on the 14 and the 28 day. So like I said, I was buying some around this area anyway. Of course, massive tail up. Now we don't know where we are. It's impossible for me to... I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I can magically predict and guess what's going on. I've given you an indication of what I think will happen around these areas, and particularly because of the touch points in the data in history, albeit not massive history. But you look at these previous areas around in April as well, I do strongly think that this area is going to be of great interest around 67, 69 cents, where, who knows, we might even get random support here because of the staking maybe starting, and then rally up from there. But likewise, I think we're going to see some volatility around there, maybe over a couple of days or so, and then we'll probably see it back around these regions as well, which again, touch points, especially here that we saw back here on the 5th of September, a complete rejection. Same thing nearly happened on the 8th of October as well, and also the traction that we had in those areas back in April again. So I think we're going to have a good few nice rides out of this over the coming week or so. But hopefully we'll get to know more in our AMA with POWR Ledger. Like I said, keep an eye out on our community page and Twitter for more details on the exact timings, and also the opportunity for you guys to ask questions. And I'm sure that, like myself, you guys are very interested to know what happened here, guys. And we will hopefully be talking to Dr. Jenny, their absolutely phenomenal powerhouse in POWR Ledger's history, and of course the momentum of the development of the project moving forward. I'm so excited to be doing that with them. It's a really cool project that we truly believe in. Just for the record, guys, we don't get paid or anything like from projects and whatnot. It's just purely from my fascination of the technology and the space, and just the pure love of learning off really key influential people, especially like Dr. Jenny and POWR Ledger. Absolutely phenomenal opportunity for myself and hopefully for you guys as well. But let's see how this plays out. Like I said, I've got some buy orders in here around 67, 69. What are you guys doing with POWR right now? Are you new to POWR? Have you just been jumping on today because you've gone, wow, what on earth is going on here? Why is this jumped up around 100% in the last 48 hours? Hopefully, we've given some ideas and food for thought, and hopefully many more people will become aware of the technology and the full potential of this project and doing their own research. I hope you are, and hopefully you'll stick around on our channel a bit more, because we do cover POWR Ledger amongst other awesome energy sector related projects. So guys, we're going to wrap that up there. We will do an update in the next few days on the AMA, and also if we find out anything new relating to the crazy moves we've seen the last couple of days. Until then, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next POWR Ledger update. Bye bye.